I've been shooting wet plate for over 12 years now. I've shot portraits, I've had 2 portrait studios, I've shot landscapes all around the United States. One of the challenges with wet plate collodion photography is you always need a darkroom nearby to complete the process. I've often wondered if I can achieve freedom from the darkroom by using the dry plate collodion process. If I can figure out dry plate collodion, that's going to allow me to travel to remote areas without bringing a darkroom and making life a hell of a lot easier. Hey guys, welcome back to NomadType. I have 5x8 glass here that I'm preparing because I want to try out my 5x8 Rochester camera, trying dry plate with that, dry plate collodion that is. So let me share my journey on how I get from this to a stereo dry plate. So first step is cut the glass. I've already pre-cut this glass. I've also burred the edges with a stone sharpener, all the corners, so you can handle it without cutting yourself. And now I have to really make sure the glass is clean, because if you leave any imperfections on the glass, you're going to see them in the photograph, and we don't want that. This is chalk in here and alcohol, and it's been dissolved mostly, although this has been sitting around for a long time. So I'll put that on that side. Towel, rub all this in. It's really important to spend the time to clean the glass, because if you don't, you're going to regret it later on after putting all the hard work in. And you've heard of squeaky clean. You can hear it starting to squeak. What I like to use is one of these cotton towels. I mean, I've already washed this in hot soapy water and it's pretty clean, I have to say. But this stuff really makes sure it's nice and clean. And I'm also wearing gloves because I don't want to get fingerprints on the glass as well. And as with most things in life, you invest the time to get the reward. This is a great example of that. Something so simple, but big lessons to be learnt. And I think the difference between good work and really good work is cleanliness, especially with glass negatives. You put in the work now and it'll pay off later on. Today's the perfect summer day to be doing this work outside. Usually it'll be inside because of dust, etc. But it's not too bad today. It's not too windy, and you know, it's a nice, dry, hot, sunny day, so I think it's okay. And a lot of people wonder why wet plates are so expensive. Well, you know, basically it's the time and effort that one has to put in to achieve good results. And it's not like just pressing a button on your iPhone. This takes dedication. And when they talk about squeaky clean, that's what it literally means, squeaky clean. Okay, so after about an hour, I was able to clean a lot of glass. So this glass is ready to be coated in egg albumen. So this is something I prepared earlier. This is distilled water with 1 egg white that's been whisked and blended as well. And it's been sat in my refrigerator for a couple of days. So this is what I'm going to be using to coat the plates. Every single plate needs to be coated in the egg albumen so the collodion sticks to the plate evenly right across, and also the colour, it actually affects the colour of a negative. So I know people will use a Q-tip and cover the edges, but you will definitely see a difference in colour when you look through the negatives. So this is definitely the correct way, and the way that they've always done it. So also, this is my secret weapon. This is like a little clothes steamer. I put distilled water in it, and we're going to steam the plates until the steam beads up on the glass, and at that point we're going to be pouring the albumen over across the front of it. This is one of the weapons I have in my arsenal. This is just a simple oxo gravy gravy boat, I guess you could say. But the purpose of it is to make sure that you don't get bubbles in your albumen. Okay, just waiting for the distilled water to boil. I have my glass here. Another trick of the trade, use one of these little hook suction cup things. Keeps everything really clean. Okay, so steam's coming out. I'm steaming. You can see that. Steaming that. Get a nice beads on there. I'm ready to pour my egg on. Very similar to Collodion. Nice and slow. Make sure you cover it all. Also, it's important to try and avoid getting the egg on the other side of the plate if at all possible. Obviously this just takes time, practice and a bit of muscle memory to get it right. And the more you do, the better you'll get at it. As you can see, it's very time consuming. When people ask you why it's so expensive, you can tell them why. How much is your time worth? As that's what it comes down to. Okay, I just got some on the back there. Best thing to do when that happens is to remove it right away. Because if you don't, it will make a mess on the other side of the plate. There's something magical about brewing a perfect cup of black coffee, rich, deep and full of character. But did you know that coffee isn't just a morning ritual? It actually has a special connection to dry plate Collodion photography. Today I'm going to show you how you can use brewed coffee as a tannin source in your dry plate Collodion workflow and why this old school chemistry still matters. Tannin is crucial in the dry plate Collodion process because it acts as a preservative for the Collodion film once the plate is sensitized. So I'm going to continue my experiment with dry plate Collodion today. I prepared these plates a few days ago and these are 5x7s. And I'm going to see if we can get this going. First step is pour Collodion, just like wet plate Collodion. Same exact thing. And this is basically a negative Collodion based on the old recipe Lee's number something, I forget what it is now. Hopefully it'll be good for landscape negatives. Just letting that set up. Here's my silver bath. I'm going to drop this in my silver bath just like normally would for wet plate Collodion. So it's hot in here. It's probably going to be 3 to 5 minutes for sensitizing, and rather than loading it into a film holder, I'm going to be basically washing the excess silver, I suppose you would say, in these baths here of distilled water, and finally the tannin, which I have here, which is basically coffee and sugar a recipe that I found online. I don't know if it works, but I'm going to find out, and you guys will find out with me. So basically, the way it goes with this distilled water is we put it in here, we agitate for 1 minute, and after that, second clear distilled water bath, we agitate for 1 minute, and then we leave in for 1 minute, let it sit still. How are we doing? This is basically the tannin. So we're going to agitate this for 1 minute.